Shall we have a good time? Feeling Friday grooving through your bones, waiting for the music to take you places you ain't never been before. Friday night, have a good time, party, get the weekend is have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. The ground shakes, world spins around you as you start to break away from the matrix. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. People gather around you, looking through glass windows, cast your judgments. Yeah, 'cause it's just a Friday. Have a good time. Have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend is have a good time. Friday night, yeah, have a good time, party, get through the weekend, yeah, have a good time, yeah, good time, yeah, yeah, yeah. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend, yes, have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend, yes, have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend, yes, have a good time. Have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, party, get through the weekend, yes, have a good time. Have a good time. Friday night, have a good time, buddy, get through the weekend. You got to have a good time, yeah, yeah. With a smile on your face, yep. No matter where you go, every little place you go, you gotta have that smile on your face, 'cause you never know where it's gonna lead you. Yeah, giving some love to one, gonna come back to you in another. Yeah, karma is a thing, I swear. All you got to do is bring your heart, and it will come back around to you. Yeah, party for the weekend, yeah. Have a good time, yeah. Have a good time, party, get through the weekend, yes, have a good time. Have a good time.
Thursday. It's Mark Pires.
I was walking down the road
And this is the longest running daily show on the planet. 1,487 days in a row live with you amazing people. Just trying to make a difference in this world that seems to be dying right around us. We write songs live here in the moment. We create comedy. We try to inspire you to find the greatest version of yourself. And if you haven't followed yet, please do. I've been live for 1,487 days in a row. And we're just 13 days away from 1,500 days live. This is some sort of record. I'm sure nobody's ever gone long form for 1,500 days in a row. But I'm going to freaking do it. And we're going to 2,000 and beyond. So join us on this mission to try to bring people together and see if we could also shine a light on the truth in the process. That's probably the reason why you've never seen me 1,487 days in a row. Because I don't know how to not tell you what I think is going on. And a lot of times it's common sense that I'm speaking, and it seems that the narrative doesn't like common sense. So, if you're open to hearing somebody wax, philosophically on something and not afraid to speak their mind, then join us on this mission. I just changed my strings, guys, and I didn't get a chance to even soft tune it, so these strings are all over the place. We're going to tune them together. Let me see if we can play a song quickly. It is bowling night, so I will have to leave this puppy in about 19 minutes. So, how's everybody doing? Been dropping crazy content here on TikTok, on YouTube. That's basically the only two I'm dropping a ton on. Rumble, we are not live on Rumble tonight, unfortunately. I just didn't have enough time to get it together. Man, I thought I fixed this thing. I put the light over there so the backdrop is nice, but then this whole corner over here needs some light. Yeah, we'll get it worked out. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Where are you tuning in from? I know a lot of the fam and friends that are here on YouTube. You need to join us, guys. Link in bio. I kind of want to grab this guitar and start tuning it because we only have 18 minutes now. Joanne! Can you stop wheezing while we're in the middle of something to live for? It is the best song in history. I can get down to this song every single day. Oh, I have. 1,487 days in a row.
There's something to die for, something to live for. I need more, something to die for. Oh, won't you give me more? Hey. So many perfect ways to spend your days, it hit me. Oh, wow. There's something to live for, yeah. There's something to die for, yeah. Something to live for, yeah. Give me something to die for, yeah. Something to live for.
Matt Zabrowski, it's your turn to hit us with a friggin' woo-hoo. You guys ready? Throwing it to him. Right? I was here. He's there. You're over there. We're all dead. You know what I mean? Zabrowski's doing it best, though, with the woo-woo. That's my perspective. I'm here. I'm in my perspective. I'm looking. And he's just go woo-hoo. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'll go 9 rounds with somebody in wiffle ball. I'm not going to get into a fight. All right? I'm not a fighter. I'm just not into it. I don't like getting hit. Okay? It's funny, I was talking to my kid about that. My son said, look, in school, I remember specifically being a certain way. I wanted to get along with everybody because I didn't want to get punched. It's that simple. I was friends with everybody. I tried to smile and get everybody to be friends with me, not like in some weird befriend way, but that's just the way I was because I didn't like violence. I didn't like fighting. I didn't like getting hit. So I'm like, you want to be friends? And life should be that way. You shouldn't be going out looking for fights. But it is interesting in 7th grade, and I've told my children this before, I was bullied for a full year in 7th grade by 2 people. It wasn't by one person, it was by 2 people together at the same time, and they'd team up on me. And not that I'm big now, I've never been big. I'm 6 foot now, and I got there eventually by college. But when I was a kid, I was always smaller. And when I was in 7th grade specifically, I was really small. And these two kids were like shaving already, and they'd beat the freaking hell out of me every day. I'll tell you quickly how it happened. I was in art class the very first week of school in 7th grade, and I'm sitting there, and I see these two kids beating up on some small kid like me. So like the stupid idiot that I am, I said 5 words that changed my life. I said, hey guys, leave him alone. Yeah, 5 words. And they said, okay, we're going to leave him alone. We're going to beat you up now. That's literally what happened. And these guys would throw me up against the lockers. Every single period, I'd be like in terror because I'd walk around a corner thinking they're going to be standing there. These guys were big. And they'd throw me up against lockers, just start pounding on me. It got to a point where the entire grade, we were in wings. So in Tom's River, it was A through G wing. And I was in A wing. And in this wing, all these people knew that on a daily basis, I'm getting my ass beat. So they'd stand around and they'd laugh. They'd be like, yeah, well, they'd like talk. It was like they were like placing bets. Like it's you could visualize now. It's like they're standing around like, oh, I got 5 on Mark getting the crap kicked out of him today and not punching back. And that's what would happen. But there was one save. There was one savior in the entire experience that I had in 7th grade. And that's why I came to this conclusion that we have a guardian angel on this planet ready to take care of us, to back us up in some scenario we do never want to be in. You know what I mean? And this guardian angel is somebody you don't expect. It's usually not the person you expect. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's not your spouse. It's somebody random you know or you don't know. But that guardian angel is out there. Mike Green was my guardian angel. And I talk about Mike Green. I actually wrote a Facebook post about 9 years ago about Mike Green, and I talked about this whole thing. Mike Green's a friend of mine on Facebook, and he was like, dude, I had no idea this had that much of an impact on your life, and I was just a stupid kid. But let me tell you the story. So Mike Green was the only person who would, and he wasn't even in the A wing, guys. He was in like G. He was all the way across. But that dude, I'd be getting my butt beat, thrown up against lockers, punched, and all of a sudden you'd see a crowd of people standing around watching. And through the crowd, you'd see people start like getting thrown out of the way, like up against, and then you see this like tunneling through like a freaking freight train is Mike Green. He's coming through, he's punching these kids, he's grabbing one kid, throwing him that way, he's got the other guy's punching this, and I'm standing there like this, and Mike Green's the only guy who would fight 2 guys because they were beating up on a small kid. And again, Mike Green came back later in life and he said to me, Mark, I was just a dumb kid helping a friend. No, you were my guardian angel because none of my other friends would do it. One of my best friends was a big dude. He never once backed me up. Mike Green backed me up every time. He was so, it was to the point, guys, where I'd be getting I'm getting punched and just like, I'm feeling so horrible in that moment. And the only saving grace I had was looking through that crowd, hoping Mike Green was coming. And maybe that's what kept me going all 7th grade, because every freaking day I had it. And I tell people, you know what? You don't understand. That was nothing compared to today, because at 3 o'clock, I was free. I was free. I was free of the terror I had from 3 o'clock until 7 a.m. the next day in order to live a life and get back to normal, see my friends that actually didn't want to beat the hell out of me. 7 a.m. the next day, terror starts again. But now 2005 is when the internet became massive for everybody. Before 3, I mean, somewhere in that range is when it got massive. Now, 3 o'clock, you start, the text messages start. The terror, I'm going to beat your freaking ass when I see you tomorrow. Imagine getting text messages like that all day after school. I can't wait to pound your face in tomorrow. I already know what's going to happen. I don't need to hear it too. I don't need to keep getting messages that way. But that's the world we live in today. Someone gets your number. Terror all day at school, terror after school. So it worked out that eventually, I think what happened is the principal found out and he threatened their parents to suspend these kids because my parents found out. And when I had the conversation with them after about 6 months of getting freaking tortured on a daily basis, I was just so embarrassed, guys. No other way to say it. I was embarrassed. I was afraid to fight back. 2 guys against 1 small kid. So I didn't say anything. I had 2 older brothers. I didn't say anything to them. I just took it. And I hid it. till one day it got too real. And I guess that everybody was talking about it in school and whatever. The principal found out, my parents find out. And I'm in the kitchen with my parents and with my brothers. And my oldest brother's telling me how to beat the hell out of these guys. Oh, freak. I got to take this call, guys. I'm going to have to get going. God almighty. I got freaking 8 minutes here. I'm making that phone call in 8 minutes is what I've been thinking, the whole time here. God almighty. Let me just send a message here. Hold on. Hold on. I'm just telling him what's going on real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I have a client who's reaching out to me because he's from the other side of the world. And that's an interesting story for another day. I'll tell you guys all about that client, about that property. And I've already shown you before, but yeah, he's on the other side of the planet. So I get messages at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night because it's 10 o'clock in the morning over there. So anyway, I just want you to know that I found this interesting, that my brother basically had a game plan on how I could beat these guys up and how I'll never be bothered by them again. And I was terrified, but the game plan was this, and this is pretty simple. You go in with a lock in your hand, like one of those, I'm going to go 6 this way, 27 that way, 34 that way, and you got one of those padlocks. And my brother says, hold the padlock in your hand. You got the inside here with the big knuckle that comes around the outside. And tomorrow when those muggers come over and they start beating you up and they start throwing you up against the locker, you go up against the locker, go with them, and then turn and you pop them in the friggin' mouth as hard as you can with this lock. And I'm freaking out because he goes, as soon as you hit him in the face, his jaw's going to break. Then he falls to the ground. You start kicking him in the chest until he spits up blood. And I'm like, what? I'm crying now because my older brother is like getting really emotional on how I'm getting just tortured by these two kids. And he's like, you kick him in the chest until they're spitting up blood. And he goes, and you don't stop. And he goes, and it's amazing to me. I'm like visualizing all this again. But so I went in with this game plan the next day. I had the lock in my hand. I'm ready to go. And so it was John Bruno was this kid. John and Rich. I can never remember his last name. Rich Rama something. I can't think of it. But anyway, they used to beat the hell out of me. And so I go in with this lock in my hand and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to freaking go. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm ready to take this thing and swing as hard as I can. I don't care if I break my hand. I'm breaking that kid's freaking face. And so I'm in. And I still can remember this as clear as day. Manny Montalbano, one of my best friends, who used to stand around and watch me get my ass kicked on a daily basis. He goes, John, you're going to beat Mark up again today? Literally, my friend. Oh, so John, you're going to beat Mark up again today? No, we're done with Mark. I had the freaking padlock in my hand, guys. I was ready to take that kid's face off. It wasn't until somebody in the chat here, when I told that story a few times, said, there's a good chance you may have completely gone nuts after tasting the blood, the revenge of actually getting someone back. You may have gone to jail. You may have killed the kid. You may have created brain damage, something, by hitting him with a deadly weapon, a lock. Thanks, brother. At the time, it was brilliant advice because I was at a point where I didn't know what else to do. But I'm thankful that he said back when Manny Montalbano said, so you're going to beat Mark up again today? He said, no, we're done with Mark. Now, a few more times over the rest of the year, he kind of showed that they had power over me. They put his hand on my neck and just kind of squeeze. Oh, hey, at football games, he'd show up and just kind of squeeze my neck and just show that he still was the man, that motherfucker, But still, I took it the whole time. I was about to pound him in the face. I didn't. I put the lock in my pocket, back into my bag, and then that was it. It was done. A year later, we moved to Connecticut. It wasn't because of this, but we moved to Connecticut. And when I'm in Connecticut, I came from New Jersey. So I show up to New Jersey saying things like, hey, guys, you want to play basketball? You want to go play some baseball? And they're laughing at me. You say basketball? Where are you from? I'm like, I'm from New Jersey. What are you talking about? Oh, Jersey boy. Oh, what are those Argyle socks? Look at those. You don't wear Argyle socks? Like I moved to this nice town. Like sorry, I wear white socks. You know what I mean? And like, just because I talk differently and whatever, I wore clothes that weren't the same as here in Connecticut, they beat me up mentally. But I used to joke with my friends. I'm like, bring it on, man. You could say whatever the frig you want to me. I don't give a crap about that as long as you're not hitting me in the friggin' chest, throwing me up against lockers, and terrorizing me on a daily basis physically. I don't care. You want to talk about my outfit and then I say basketball? Let's go. That I'm fine with. It's the physical abuse, the bullying I cannot stand. I get it. People pick on each other with little taunts and little, verbal jabs. That is fine. And this is where we got so sensitive in society. You can't even do that anymore. You can't talk about a subject that, is an opinion. You're not allowed to have an opinion because you're not in that group. The whole thing is mental. You are allowed to have an opinion on anything in this life of yours. And you know what? People shouldn't get so offended if you think something different, if you don't understand the way they see it. We have to get back to what we used to do, which is speak our minds. And then maybe we won't get into so many physical altercations, So perhaps in time it will all make sense. But to me, the bullying, the physical bullying, that I just could not stand. But getting beat up mentally for something I wore, something I said, how I say it, whatever, dude. That I'm fine with, I'd rather that. If you're going to do something, just say a couple things, get your rocks off because you beat someone up. You made someone feel this small because you said something really funny. All right, do that, that's fine. But after getting pounded for a year by like 6-7 months by these two guys, like I was like, that's crazy that people get so upset about words. And this is the thing, you have to understand who you are. Okay? If they're saying things that are true, then okay, it's going to hurt. But if they're saying things that aren't true and it just pisses you off because it's stupid talk, that, it's a weird balance. You're dealing with a weird balance. You're trying to keep the peace, keep your cool. But sometimes, when people just aren't making sense, you want to step in and say something, and then it just can create some more issues. So, look, I guess we didn't even get into the music, unfortunately. I did play a song to start, but this is actually a good thing, because listen, guys, seriously. So I put the strings on. What I'll do is tomorrow or tonight when I get back from bowling, I will tune them. I'm going to probably get a couple of strikes in tonight, and I'll film them and send them up to TikTok and YouTube. So make sure you're tuning in about an hour when I'm at the friggin' alleys. I'm going to see if I can get a 300 tonight, guys. I only have one in my career. I have tons of games where I get them going, and then I don't know, something happens in my mind, or I don't know. It's also hard finding the perfect lane, because I literally have to stand in another lane because the way I throw my curveball, it's like, the thing hooks so much. I don't know. I can't get, like, when you have the ball return, I can't have a lane where the ball returns to my left. It has to be the right. So I could stand in the next person's lane to throw my freaking ball, my strike ball. So anyway, I'll show you that tonight. I'll bring my camera gear, and I'll get a couple of shots like I usually do. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Remember, tomorrow, it's cover night. Day 1,480, 88 in a row tomorrow night, Joanne? Joanne, wake up back there! Wheezing it out and napping. That's what she's best at. And tooting. That too. She's really, Oh, my man Chase just put strings on his guitar today. My brother. Chase, come back tomorrow. I'm going to rock it out for you, but do me a favor. You can just go to the playlist, and there's like 300 plus songs. I don't know. I mean, we create so many songs on a daily basis, but there's 196 on iTunes and Spotify. Many songs like this. This is my song. So, you got to go away. You got to go away. Tomorrow, let me see. I'll say goodnight to you guys. See who's on with me. Joanne, can you turn the audio from the, ad off. Thank you. Barella, chase the heat in the house. Loving it. Kathleen Danford, kill it and grill it. Guys, if you're not killing it before you grill it, you could be a murderer. Maudib in the house. I love it. Maudib's back, guys. We love Maudib. Modoc Roughstock, doing it. You know, Modoc, how many songs have we written together? Modoc will be like, hey, you know, why don't you write a song about this? I'm like, done, right? Pamela Swan, you know when Pamela Swan comes out, it's a friggin' party time. And S-cooping it, you know, when you're S-cooping it, you're also scooping it up. You know, like you're like, I like that. I'm gonna take an extra scoop. And then you eat it after the show. Just, what's that? No, Joanne, none for you. Anyway, Tim Beers in the house, guys. We will be getting a Renaissance. It's not even Renaissance, man. It's just the Mark Pires Family Jam tomorrow night for Tim Beers, so be here. Trish Killian, right? You guys know when you're doing it, and Trish Killian's here. Everybody's like, guys, the party started. Just saying. Virginia, too. If you can't go to Virginia and then you have Virginia while you're in Virginia, it's a double-decker deal. Warden Fissel! You know, it's like a missile being shot off into the atmosphere. Guys, I love you. Seriously, you're awesome. I really appreciate you. Tomorrow when we do it all over again, I promise you the guitar will be out, the beat seat. We're going to be rocking it out. So make sure you share. Let's get a couple thousand people here tomorrow night. How about that, right? We're going to be playing U2. We're going to be playing Counting Crows, playing Dave Matthews. Going to be playing Boys to Men. What? Just kidding. No, Joanne, yeah, I guess you could sing the baritone. With that wheeze, she'll freaking kill it. You know? And grill it. Guys, till tomorrow. Till then. It's Mark Pires. You got to go away. And it's the longest running daily show on earth. See you tomorrow. Love you guys. You got to go away. Yeah. Till tomorrow, favorite friends. Till tomorrow.